there is an inherent tension between a lot of the big society and anything other to do with localism, where anything that is said from the centre is deemed to be a central edict and therefore contrary to the beliefs of localism, which can be a bit tricky. But I think it's acceptable. What central government is there to do, as far as localism and the big society is concerned, is to set a framework within which things can happen. So it's reasonable for central government to set a framework beyond which minimum standards, that sort of thing. Beyond that, with particular reference to the big society, there's a key role for government in trying to spark the innovation and help communities to do innovative, radical things. And I think that's what Greg Clark has talked about, is moving the civil service away from being a central dictate-issuing organisation to a more enabling body. So he has some of his civil servants are working with specific communities around the country to help them overcome the barriers that prevent them from doing things they'd like to do at the local level. And I think there's a key role there. And if those things work, which one hopes they will, the government has some kind of role in helping to propagate good ideas so they can spread. In order to genuinely decentralise power to local authorities, the most important thing going forward would be to look at the balance of funding and how local government can raise more of its own funding. And there are certainly questions that sit around council tax and how that's controlled. But to be honest, I think that's to some degree a marginal question. Council tax generally makes up a small fraction of most councils' budget. More important by far, I think, is giving councils real control over the rest of their budget, over far more of the rest of the budget. And the government is doing things like removing the ring fencing from funding to give them more control.
And what settlement am I expecting from CSR for local government? I don't know is the answer. I've heard, as you probably have, I've heard good, I've heard bad, I've heard indifferent. The most recent I heard was bad, so so it's clearly not going to be hugely. It's not going to be something where local government's going to stand and cheer from the rooftops, because all areas of government are going to have a tough time in coming years, and local government is going to be no exception. I don't know how the figures will pan out, but I suspect that I would like to think the government is going to seek to sugar the pill by offering local government, offering councils additional financial flexibilities, and particularly I hope they're going to introduce genuine place-based budgeting.